Welcome to this demo of the Provide Climate Risk Dashboard. The Provide Climate Risk Dashboard is first and foremost a database that allows to explore, visualize, understand, and download information on global to local climate impacts. It covers indicators from various sectors, with a focus on heat stress over 140 cities in the world, but also on temperature in most countries in the world, as well as indicators representative of the conditions for habitability of oceanic environments in the areas that countries have the exclusive right to exploit, or exclusive economic zones. On the Explore page of the tool, two user modes are available. Let's start by using the Future Impacts mode. Here, you can explore how different levels of climate action will lead to different climate impacts. Let's, for example, try to find the answer to this question. How many heatwave days per year will Mexico City experience in the 21st century, depending on the future trajectory of global greenhouse gas emissions? First, let's select Mexico City from the drop-down menu. Then let's select an impact indicator among those offered for cities. You can see the full list in the drop-down menu accessible for the urban climate sector. Let's select heatwave days per year. You can check the exact definition of this indicator by hovering over its name. You then need to select global emission scenarios for which you would like to explore climate impacts over time. Select 1 to 3 emission scenarios for this button on the left. When clicking on it, a window pops up that allows you to select from a list of scenarios. For example, let's first explore how the number of heatwave days per year will evolve over time in Mexico City in the scenario 2020 climate policies, which assumes no further climate action than the policies that were implemented in 2020. On the right-hand side of that pop-up window, you can read a bit more information on each of the scenarios available from the list, including how global warming will evolve over time. Once you're done with selecting a scenario, you can see a time series plot that shows how the number of heatwave days per year in Mexico City would evolve till 2100, including a confidence interval derived from our modeling simulations. The line in the middle is color-coded, so that you can see when global warming levels of 1.5, 2 degrees, and 2.5 degrees are crossed. Below, you can also see a map showing how the number of heatwave days per year vary in space of the city for 2030, 2050, or 2100. It's also possible to check how results would differ in a scenario with more ambitious climate action by selecting, for example, the shifting pathway scenario from the list, which is compatible with the 1.5-degree goal of the Paris Agreement. By selecting it, the time series plot and the map will adjust so that you can compare how results differ for these two scenarios. This version of the dashboard does not only offer the possibility to check results for indicators for cities, but also climate conditions in the surface ocean, such as sea surface temperature of the Cape Verde. Here, you can access the same plots we have already looked at before. But instead of looking at projected changes for a few emission scenarios, you may instead ask yourself, what is the risk of exceeding critical levels of impact in the future? This is what this last graph is focusing on. You can first select a level of impact, let's say sea surface temperature of 1 degree above today's level on average over Cape Verde. As a result, you can explore how much of our local risk is unavoidable, even in the most ambitious climate action scenario, as indicated by the dark gray columns here. You can compare to how much of that local risk can be avoided by strengthening climate action by looking at the light gray columns, which indicate the difference in risk between the most ambitious climate action scenario and the least ambitious one. Now we'll focus on the second user mode of the Climate Risk Dashboard, which is available for indicator of heat stress in 140 cities. Rather than providing information for different emission scenarios, this allows to answer the question, what needs to happen so that we can avoid reaching undesirable levels of heat stress in my city? For example, how much global climate action is required to avoid getting more than 50 heatwave days in Mexico City? The text on the left-hand side tells you that, on average, Mexico City experienced 15 heatwave days per year between 2011 and 2020. Use the slider to select 50 heatwave days per year. Then specify the maximum risk of crossing that level that you are willing to take, 50% or 5%, let's say. As a result, the tool will tell you that to keep the chance that the urban area of Mexico City will on average experience over 50 heatwave days per year below 5%, one should pursue global emission pathways in line with limiting average global warming to 1.7 degrees. Below, you can also see the years at which this level will be exceeded for the three main scenarios available in the climate risk dashboard. You can also check how the results differ for various locations of a city by using this drop-down menu, or by checking the table and the map further below. By offering to start from local impacts and linking to metrics of global climate action, such as global warming levels or global emission scenarios, we're hoping that this user mode will be of particular interest to stakeholders focusing on urban climate adaptation, such as urban planners and policymakers at the city level. In addition to these two modes of a dashboard, we have a methodology page where you can find detailed information on the models used for projections in all sectors, marine, urban, and terrestrial climate, as well as the simulations that were conducted and how the data was processed. We also have a glossary page where we try to include a bit more information about general concepts and indicators. And finally, we have the Explainers tab, where you find extensive information on what climate scenarios we use and their characteristics, such as how their global emissions or global warming levels evolve over time. Importantly, on this page, you can choose a research question and see a set of scenarios that responds to it. Of course, you're welcome to check the About page, where you'll find information about the project, and the Contact page, where you'll find information on where to contact us in case you have questions, feedback, or comments. Thank you for listening, and we hope that you enjoy using the Provide Climate Risk Dashboard.